Welcome to this free lecture regarding the Course in Miracles. Originally, I had planned to give you step-by-step introduction to the main principles of the Course in Miracles. But facing the current situation in the world and what's happening in the States, in Venezuela, yesterday in Barcelona, I decided to change the subject and to respond directly and concretely to what's happening in the world and how we can react to it. Because the aggression and the violence that we are facing puts us often in a place of fear that can convert into aggression ourselves. But especially what I feel myself, and I hear it around my friends, it's like, what can we do? What concretely can we do that this violence and this aggression and the poverty and the injustice do not take control? And it may seem that they take control because, of course, the news run very fast nowadays in our world. And especially the news transmit most of the time bad news. They do not focus on good news, on motivating news, on love, on compassion, on all the great things that are happening. But the bad news are true as well. And poverty, wars, aggression, attacks, this is true. So we want to know and we need to know how we can face these events that influence our daily life and our health also a lot. The Course in Miracles says it quite clear. Love is to fear what light is to darkness. So where there is light, there is no darkness. So when there is love, it casts the fear out, like the light casts the darkness out as soon as we switch it on, right? So of course, these are nice words, but they still leave us a little bit helpless and sometimes even make us aggressive, because we say, well, these are empty, nice words, but what can we really do? How do they help here in situations like this? We need to know that, and we can see when we watch these videos, that of those who march for violence, of those who are willing to give their lives to kill others in the name of their religion, of injustice, of whatever their reasons are, of those who deliver or create arms to generate more war and fear in this world. When we look at them, there is an important key point that we need to acknowledge, and this is that they do it with conviction. They spit out every word, every action, every thought they have is based on the seed of hatred, of attack, of aggression, which are ultimately all disguised forms of fear. Fear of being overwhelmed or overtaken by another race, as we heard in the latest interviews in the USA. Fear of losing control, like we can hear when different leaders talk about that, and fear of not having enough. So being willing to kill others, being willing to control others or to enslave others in order to keep the survival tribe and to keep on going with control and enough. When have we lately stood up, spoken up with conviction and loud and clear for an idea that's based on love? How often have we decided not to say anything because we are afraid to be embarrassed, or we are embarrassed because we are often blamed to be naive or dreamers when we speak out our true belief in love, in a better world, in the goodness of humankind? How often have we just been belittled or laughed about in a group when we shared our vision and our observations that there is a lot of good in the world, and that we believe and we see that there are more people that want the good, and there are more good, kind people who step up, who help each other, than bad people who want to destroy. So this is there where we directly, immediately can and should act on. Every day, with every action, with every word, in every conversation, when we see something unjust happening out there in the streets, even if it's an unjust, not correct joke, to not allow this to happen and look away. Because this is the reason why the world is the way it is. We have been looking away too long, too often. We have decided not to step up in the name of fear. We have to decide to play little, to play the game, to not be attacked by the others, to not be weird or awkward. So this is the first step we have to do and we can do. Watching our steps, watching our words, watching our actions, and interfere or share what we really believe in or how we want that the world is like when around us there is a conversation that goes in the other direction. And this is happening much more often than we think. When we are traveling, or those of us that travel, we see that the world is good. All these places where we get the news, through the news, that they are having war, people are killing each other, hating each other. When we go there, when we teach, when we talk with these people, when we listen to their stories, everybody wants peace. Everybody wants to live with each other in a good way. They are collaborating, there are incredible projects going on. Neighbors are helping each other in difficult moments, no matter what religion, no matter what sex, no matter what belief system they are in. So it is happening much more than the bad thing. But of course, these things are not shown in the news. So another important point here, how we can deal with that, is we need to make clear choices what we are looking at, what we are taking in. It's one thing to listen to the news once or twice a day to get informed and see what's there, and it's another thing to dwell hours and hours in the net and being hooked by all these pictures of the wounded, of the speeches of politicians that politics that really make us righteous, or to look for new dramas that we are delivered today through vision and through audio. Whatever we put our focus on, this is what we help to get stronger. So this is a moment when each one of us, we have to ask ourselves, how much have we clicked on something to listen to one of the comments of those people that we really think they should not be in the power? How much have we been looking at videos and pictures that are full of blood and violence and drama? It's important to ask yourself, do we just do it to be informed? Or are we getting hooked and there is this kind of sensation of wanting to see more and kind of this hate love between disgust but also being fascinated? So this is another important point to look at. What choices do I make? In what do I read? What do I watch? What do I listen to? And also, what people do I surround myself? There are some groups we have no chance to go there and always stand up with our contrary belief patterns. So it's much wiser also to go and look for those who stand up for the same values, and together we make it stronger. The Course in Miracles says it very clear, and when you listen to Marianna Williamson, who gives live stream talks about the Course in Miracles every week, 2 hours, she's really incredible, powerful, empowering, and always sticking with the non-violence, with the principles of love and of trust, no matter what's happened. Love will always win, but sometimes love says no. It doesn't mean when we choose love that then we have to allow others to treat us like doormats, or we have to allow others to treat the world and the weak ones and the vulnerable ones, to treat them with no respect or even with worse values. Love always wins, and sometimes love says no. So sometimes I say no to get more information about an awful event. And there is another important difference that Marianna Williamson always points out. It is a difference if we just ignore what's happening in the world, and sometimes it's really hard to bear and to really watch there, right? It's hard to see what's all happening in the world. So we sometimes choose to just not look there and then hoping it will get away. But as we see, it's not getting away, it's getting worse. So we need to look there where things are happening, also the ones that cause us pain and helplessness and fear. We need to look there, but we must not dwell there. We do not deny the bad, but we do deny the power that it has ultimately over us. There is another important point, and this point is that we need to stop whining. The world has always been the world. The world has always been consisted in the light and darkness. And today news travel very fast. And today there are a lot of sad and tragic things happening. But it's not that today the world is worse than in other moments, because when you read the history, there have been very, very tragic moments, and every generation has its struggles. So let's stop whining, let's kick our ass and get up and do what we can do. So we already said that we choose, we need to choose what we hear, what we put our focus on. And we need to choose to show that we are for love, for the light, and against darkness, with conviction in every single act, in every single word, in our thoughts, in our way how we treat each other. And there is, how to say, it is a complex theme, right? But in order to do so, we need to have a daily refuge. We need to have a way where we can remember what we are here for. We need to have a daily practice that helps us to keep steady and centered, even when the world is getting crazy around us. And this implies a daily meditation practice. We shower every day to wash our bodies. We practice every day, we exercise every day to keep our muscles strong, that they can keep functioning and that we can face the world in a physical way, right? We brush our teeth every day. We clean our apartment, our house. We check our car. But our inner world, what do we really do to keep that clean, to keep that fresh, to sort out what is destructive and what supports the healing process within each one of us, but also the global healing process? Every day we take on new horror news, new sad things we have to witness. And every day we are exposed most of all to our insane way of thinking, first about ourselves and then also about the others and the world around us. So there needs to be a way to cleanse, to refresh, to start from anew, to put the reset button every day. And that's why daily meditation and prayer practice is not just a romantic spiritual word, it's a necessity that we need to practice, each one of us, so we can go through the current times, we can go through this world, our life, and fulfill our purpose without getting damaged and without losing our purpose, without losing the commitment to go for light and for love rather than for fear and the darkness. So if you are meditating already, do it with more conviction. I know in myself, sometimes you just say, today not, and I have so much to do, and I would rather sit in front of my computer and write another text, or do another Instagram post, or any other things that we think they are so important. Get a committed meditation practice. It doesn't have to be an hour, it doesn't have to be half an hour, it can be 5 minutes every day, but do it. And there are no excuses there. And this is what we can do right here, right now. And we can pray. We can pray for us, we can pray for the world, for those who suffer, and we can pray for our sanity, so that we can act daily from a place of love, of compassion, of cooperation, so that we avoid war within our micro worlds where we live in. It can be overwhelming to want to save the world when you see what's happening there, and it's almost impossible when we do not decide to go for politics and go and dedicate our life in this realm. But we have a lot of power. Meditate, pray every day, and then watch closely how you act with your children, with your parents, with your friends, with your neighbors, with your business partner, in the supermarket, in the traffic. Airplanes and airports are wonderful places of practicing peace that we are so much longing for. Get out there and do it. And this will ripple out, this will have an effect. This is not just nothing. This is not just a drop on the hot stones, because we are over 7 million beings, and let's say there are 6 billion beings or 6.9 billion beings who want something good. So how can we not come together, do what we can do with conviction and with commitment and with discipline, so that those who do hate with conviction, who are desperate, who do not see the light, who have forgotten that we are all made by the same spark, how can we not bring the light in this world? There is a beautiful saying in Course in Miracles: we cannot save the world without God, but God cannot save the world without us. And I really ask you here, if you want to follow the Course in Miracles, do not let words push you away from such incredible practice. If you call it God, if you call it Buddha, if you call it any other name that you want to give them, or if you do not believe at all, but we're talking about life and humanity and our planet Earth, that we need to contribute, to collaborate in order to keep it balanced, in order to get it healed. When I was watching Marianna Williamson 2 days ago, because I was really looking for some guidance and comfort myself, and she was just talking after the awful marches that were happening in the USA. She said she just opened up the book A Course in Miracles, and what she got was the lesson: I can always see I can always see peace instead. I can always see peace instead. So instead of dwelling on the horrible things that are happening, and we have to look at them, we can make the shift and we can immediately go into prayer, short meditation, realign our thinking, our acts, our speech, and then ripple peace and justice and trust and love there where we are, and it will eventually cover the whole world. So please stay with it. Please do not give up the hope. Please do not get into aggression and aversion yourself, although we can make us angry what we see. But stick to the principles of non-violence and the powerful influence that each one of us has in our own daily life, with our thoughts, with our words, with our actions. I hope this has given you a little bit of support to keep on going, and I'm very grateful and honored to grow with you and to go through life with you all. Thank you so much. Namaste.